Look at your role for the leadership. The 10 to 15 minutes, there's a video on what your role is as a leader. Did you know it's out there? Okay. How did the fall on that system?
There's a link to that recording on the email I sent you last night.
I probably heard it at some point because now at large.
I don't think so. You went to because it's 7 o'clock on Fridays mornings, so you're not on those. Are we ready?
Yeah, it's recording.
All right, welcome everyone. We're having a little bit of a wall of opportunity here. And so when we have walls of opportunities, what happens? We go over, under, left, to right, blow it up, tear it down somehow, some way to make a break. The bigger wall, thicker the wall, harder it is to make a break. The more important it is to make a break. It's the first thing we teach. So Jonathan, he was, when he was 8, 9 years old, he was getting up in front of hundreds of people sharing that particular natural law. And so what Ed did is Ed found another way. So we're out of Wi-Fi this morning, but Ed, he found, because he's an expressive, so he's a level 3, so he's always coming up, well, what about this? Well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Until, oh yeah, we could record it. So for those that, didn't get the live, technology is not perfect yet. So we apologize for that, and being able to go through that. And so, so Area 1 marketing, so on the Success Circle of 12, there's 12 roles. Every role is absolutely critical. And obviously you have to know your role. So there's a 10 to 15 minute recording that you have to go ahead and listen to that gives you an overview. And so today we just had a gift from Matt. We just had a gift from Matt that he's given us, that he watched the role and all of a sudden it all clicked in. He's like, oh, I need to do this and this and this. And what we're doing is making the roles easier and easier. What's the advantage of making every role easier and easier?
More people want to do it.
What's that?
More people want to do it.
Yeah, more people will do it. What's the disadvantage of making a role really, really easy?
People become dependent.
People become dependent. Yeah, and lazy. Like, it's not easy. It's like, what? I've got to read something? I've got to look at it? Aren't you going to just read it and spoon feed it to me? So, business at some point is going to hit the fan. I mean, at some point it's going to be difficult. And so, but you try to make it as easy as you can, as long as you can. So, in the Success Circle of 12, so the goal is each of you, I don't know, I was talking to Jonathan about, so he's partnering up in the MVP, which is the multimedia video area, and he's trained a lot of people, and it just hasn't worked out so well. I mean, he puts all this time into people, and then they quit, or they do something else, or whatever. And so he's, frustrated. He thinks he's not a good trainer. Well, that may be true. Or maybe he's got 4 students, or it's some combination, or a system. There's a whole bunch of different things. So he's now working with his 18-year-old younger brother and getting him up to speed in the video and the development of that. So hopefully Jonathan will get a win, and he'll say, I'm a good teacher, I'm a good trainer. Maybe he is, maybe Ben's a good teacher, student. I mean, it's a combination between those two things in development. And so the goal is to develop each one of you. The goal is to develop each one of you to develop your own Success Circle of 12. And so Alan, president of Tanglewood Conservatories, he said, I need to find people better than me. Tom Kuntz went ahead and said that same thing. The key to his success, Tom's success, is he found people better than him. But if you're a small startup company, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a smaller to mid-sized company, you're not going to find people better than you, by and large. You're going to have to develop them. And that just brought back memories of Tom and I talking. I'm like, Tom, you're amazing. He's like, I'm not amazing. He says, what you have done is amazing. Why? Because I built the systems to develop people. And developing people is really hard. And so Tom's was president of the largest real estate franchise in the world. So he had the infrastructure, somebody else came before him and built up all of those systems. So he knew how to use the systems, and that's why he was successful. Utilizing systems, developing systems, utilizing people with talent, and developing people with talent, totally different skill sets. And that's what Alan said. He said, Mark, you're totally different than I am. I need people who are better than me. You know how to develop people. And so the Success Circle at 12 is designed to make you look, it's an equalizer. Like you have, some guy, you have some guy that is, 6'4", built like an ox, strong as everything, and you have some petite little, woman. Who would you rather get in a fight with? It depends. It depends. Okay, one is she might know martial arts, and so she might kill you. Two is a gun. Like martial arts takes a long time to learn. A gun doesn't. A gun is an equalizer. And so what you're doing is, with the Success Circle of 12, it's an equalizer. What you're doing is you're tapping into decades and millions of dollars, and if you learn how to use that gun, it's an equalizer to you. Okay, so role 2 is Director of Communications. Amy, what did you learn? How did it help you? How will it help the group? And what would you like to accomplish today?
I just met a lawyer, Chinese lawyer yesterday.
Okay.
She have a lot of clients from China,
Okay.
office owners. So I think the good thing is we're gonna connect to the, get into the
Right.
And I want to accomplish is just I want talk about this travel agency and the summer camp. This is how to bring the clients. And I hope you and David can solve the differences, we can moving forward. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, good. Here's something that, like you guys, I'm sure, like sometimes you're just in awe of my wisdom. It's just like, how does he know these amazing things? So be ready. Here's one of them. When you're in a partnership, okay, with somebody else, don't shoot them in the back.
Shoot them front.
No, don't do that. But yes, I would prefer being shot in the front than
I'm
the back.
not sure if I want to be your partner.
So
I do that all the time. I put everything in front, so we don't.
Well, no, I know what you're saying, but with partners, and so what Dave is doing is Dave's just Dave.
Right.
Poor Dave. I mean, it
Nobody's
just,
perfect,
some are further from that spectrum than others, and so it's like, just not thinking, and so that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing, and so. Would you rather be in the room with somebody who knows how to use a gun or somebody who doesn't?
Doesn't.
No, I'd rather be in a room with somebody that knows how to use
Yeah.
it. They're not as dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, right. It
No,
depends.
actually,
I know, it depends.
it depends. It totally depends.
Depends on the situation.
Well, it depends on motive.
Yeah.
In the Vietnam War, my brother used to say a lot of the sergeants out in the field would be killed with friendly fire.
Right.
That was common.
Right. So it depends on motive. It all depends on motive.
Well, it's like that video you guys seen of the Jimmy John's kid. So Jimmy John's was robbed recently at gunpoint, and the guy loaded his bullet into the chamber, but it jammed. And the kid sat there. He gave away the money and stuff because the guy still had a gun. He could get it unjammed within a second or two if he wanted to, but the guy didn't know how to use a gun. So the kid just remained calm, gave him everything. He wasn't scared. He was just kind of like, really, dude? You're wasting my time today. But he knew his life wasn't in any immediate danger because the guy didn't know how to use a gun. It was jammed. So
So it depends, and so it depends on motive. So if somebody's motive is to bring harm to you, you hope they don't know how to use the gun. If somebody's motive is to bring no harm to you, then you hope they know how to use the gun. So it's the heart. It's where is the heart? Is the heart to? And so, you know, sometimes people might have a good heart.
One second, are you trying to get on the Wi-Fi?
I was. I'm not right now trying to hook up.
Okay, well, it should be fixed.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Appreciate it.
isn't it?
No worries.
There is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
you're on, right, Bill? Okay,
No
yeah,
worries.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And so, in partnerships, you know, in partnerships, when you're partnering with people, you know, if you shaft your partner, I remember one with Tom, he got, I don't know, $200,000-$300,000 in funding for somebody for a business. And like Tom, in the 7-8 years that we worked together, like we never had any written agreements. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have written agreements. I think they're really good, if for no other reason, just to make sure you have no misunderstandings. You know, so even if it's not for the legal, it's like, what is our understanding? So you don't have one person say, well, I think this, and I think this, and you don't, so you can mess up whole partnerships just because it's not clear. But in these 7-8 years, Tom and I were traveling, we never had a written agreement. And so I asked Tom, I said, so you're helping like $200,000 or $300,000 in funding. Like you provided this, you created Connected, like, you know, like Amy does. And I said, you don't have an agreement with him? He's like, no. I said, you're not worried about like what's in it for you? He's like, oh no, it'll be. I said, really? He's like, oh yeah, he knows. He screws me once he's done. Okay. There you go. And so, you know, it just, like, so I don't know how you help people like Paul. You know, he was on a call last night, and he's, I don't know, been around for about 9 months. And he went ahead and trusted somebody he shouldn't, and he's made no money. Now he's in a real bad situation because he's trusted the wrong people. So you trust the wrong people, and so sometimes people are good people, sometimes they have a lot of talent, sometimes they have a good heart.
Yep.
They just aren't paying attention. It's just something that's not, it's just not paying attention well. And so your heart goes out to some people some of the time. So the director of communications, so Katrina, you need to make sure that all of the people in your group are doing what Matt did and watching their role, their 10 to 15 minutes, so they have clarity of what they need to do. Does that make sense? And then Amy, as director of communication, once you watch your role, then you see the other people and what are their roles. So it's kind of like paint by the numbers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
DNA for people, Jill.
Yes.
We have a list. What you learn, how to help you, how to help the group, and what would you like to accomplish today?
Okay. What did I look? Basically, it's for me. It's not so much what I can help with the group. It's for me to learn personally.
Okay.
Because I have a tendency to look at people maybe a little different than some other people do.
Okay.
And it's hard for me to see that some of the different personalities, the different, just by having a conversation, sometimes that's a little difficult. So that's something that I'm trying to learn without having to specifically ask them questions. So I'm trying to be a better student at learning what the personalities are and how to
Cool.
recognize them faster.
Okay. Excellent.
And for me, what do I want to get out of today? Well, I've noticed myself getting a little bit better organized and blocking off time for things.
Okay.
As long as I have my phone along with me and I'm setting reminders, you know, because I get busy and I forget. So I'm trying to block my time better.
I do everything on my phone, it makes life easy.
Yeah, except that like, these pants don't have pockets in them, so I have to carry the phone around with me, and I'll set it down and.
Why I always have a show with the pocket in the
Yeah,
phone.
well, I
Okay,
don't have one
so
of
the
them either.
DNA for life, and what you learned, so that's all the natural laws, the 500 plus natural laws. So what did you learn? How did it help you? How will it help the group? And what do you want to accomplish?
Never thought about it.
So one of the things, like sometimes in business, you fake it till you make it. So there's a time that you tend to have done something, maybe when you haven't. And that's an art that you learn in business. Sometimes you fake it, like I really know what I'm doing. Why is it that I want Ed to fake it?
Because I can get away with
See
it.
him as a leader.
Because other people see him as a leader of the group. That's exactly right. That is exactly, man, that's amazing. So that's exactly right. And so if you have, so they look to him as a leader, and so if Ed doesn't have to be prepared, why do I have to be prepared? Well, not Ed. You know? And so, you know, Ed's ability to see stuff really, really fast. And so Ed went ahead and saw on the post for the video, Ed saw the messaging being just slightly different was really important. Like, he saw that, he's like, you need to go ahead and have a little different message, because that different message conveys something totally different, like, you know, unforeseen, you know, circumstances are, well, maybe you messed up, maybe you didn't show up. But technology, well, what can you do about technology? I mean, like, it's only, you know, you can't necessarily control that. So Ed saw that. So with anything having to do, I would rather you just fake it. Just fake it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good at faking it. You just go ahead.
I've been doing it my whole life.
Seriously, you just fake it. Because then people, you know. So the DNA for life, like the one thing that holds, I think, you back is you're not looking for, like, you don't realize, like, I don't think you realize, like, one strategic question. Like, it's like you get, like, there's all these shiny objects. Okay? Not that they're irrelevant. But, you know, all of a sudden you guys are talking about a pocket, which, in a way, that's relevant because it's methodology on how to do things. Is that the most important thing? I don't know.
If you're not getting hard messages, it's like for me, my phone is a key to being able to get everything done. And it's like all my shirts have pockets because I keep my phone in my pocket, you know.
So does anyone see what I see?
I'm justifying it. But it is critical though, because if you can't do your appointments all day.
Why are you telling me this? You do that to all of us.
So, does anybody now see what I see?
No.
No. See what?
Okay, so what did he do? He justified it.
Justified.
Caught himself justifying it, and then what did he do? Further justified it. So if I can help take him to another dimension, a spectrum, and so like I didn't say what he was doing was wrong. Why not? Well, because I don't know if it's wrong. Because what he's saying is very critical. Pockets, I mean, little things like that are significant. And so that can make the difference. That little tiny thing
It makes somebody successful.
it could make the difference. And so I have an edge over Ed frequency-wise because I can see the brilliance of what he's seeing. Like, it's not random. I mean, it's very specific. But he has a harder time seeing what I see. And if he can see what I see faster, like it's not a judgment that he shouldn't have done it, but is he questioning, is that the very best thing? Because there's something with Jill that nobody knows besides me.
What is that?
Oh, we took time on the pocket, so we have to continue to hunt. So there's all of this, there's all this stuff, like there's all this stuff that's going on, and the expressive often has a hard time controlling the mind. So, like we've been waiting potentially for 12 years for something, and it might finally have occurred. And so that might be with Katrina in the follow. So you have had just a continued pain in the butt with your team at your office. They just, like it's just like,
Nowhere near to my son.
well, he was on Rosanna called because he missed two, Wednesdays and Saturdays. So he was on a retreat, a Cubs, or a,
On Saturday.
okay.
Wednesday we had more pressing issues.
Okay, so you might want to manage up and out on me on that. So I'm aware. Just say, hey, here's an update of what's going on.
I would explain to you.
So at some point, so just give me.
His 16-year-old son called and said, Eddie, if you want to make money, you have to be on the call. I'm like, oh, okay, son.
Eddie got home Wednesday and Eddie sat at the kitchen table with me and didn't go
we're
anywhere.
recording. So we're recording. So, okay, so the natural law, so like Katrina, you potentially could fix Ed's office. Ed hasn't been able to do it, I haven't been able to do it, but you potentially have the capacity because you could actually go out there, you could actually sit down with people, and you could actually go ahead and have them, watch them read through the white paper, actually time that, how long it takes them, and say, do you understand it? And then you go through, and then you say, okay, here's this and this. And so in another, what I'm looking for in another 3 years, maybe 4, is there somebody a lot more effective than you?
Are you talking about her?
Oh, the younger you can get them to come in, you can get a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old to come in and sit down and say, do you know how to read? Do you? Right, because you can't do anything. You can't get upset because they're 3, 4, 5 years old. And you say, yes, okay. Can you do step 1? Can you do step 2? Like, this is not brain surgery. This is not rocket science. And so for some reason, adults have this crazy inability to learn, change the way we're thinking. Okay. Jonathan, you have Area 1 Marketing. What did you learn? How did it help you? How will it help the group? And what would you like to accomplish?
I mean, it was nice that Ed mentioned the report. I'm like, oh yeah, it does every week record it while I'm broadcasting it, and of course in HD versus strictly at low quality, so I can post it later. We're not streaming live, so
Yeah. Right.
That was nice.
Cool. So in marketing, the message, one word can be the difference between a business succeeding and not. One word. I mean, it's frightening. It is frightening to see. And that 97% of businesses will go out of business in 7 years. One word could make the difference between your business succeeding and your business failing. One word.
Where's that come from?
You mean natural law-wise?
One word.
Well, I don't know. Like Ed knew and I knew. Like Ed knew what I knew. But I'm like, is that really the most important thing? So as soon as Jonathan said it, immediately I thought exactly what Ed thought. But I said, I don't know if that's the most important thing. Ed thought it was, so it's a great lesson in marketing, Jonathan, that it's a totally different message And that messaging box too. And so how do you acquire the speed and the knowledge that Ed has or I have in that? I don't know, maybe just decades in business. Maybe just getting a little older. I mean, it's a combination like sticky messages, studying that, reading it, and then all of a sudden, and then I spend 49 weeks in that book teaching a course on it to come up with seven lessons. And so it's like, it's like you become like a master. And so in marketing, Jonathan, like, I don't know, have you all read? So there's 5 white papers to read for this Success Circle of 12. And then there's the ebook, How to Be the Best Student in the World in Everything. And I am an amazing student. I mean, the things that I pick up are just like, they're insane. It's like I'm like Lillian. It's like I'm just watching them. I'm like when Jonathan went ahead and said, he was there, Ed was there, and they were talking about reading books, and Ed was saying, you need to read, and Jonathan's like, yeah, I don't know. And Jonathan said, why don't they go ahead, like a movie takes a book, and whatever it takes 10 hours to read a book, and it condenses it down into 2 hours. And then it condenses it down into, a minute with a trailer or something like that. So the trailers that Jonathan's putting together, and who would have thought? Like, I would have never. Like, it's accident. Like, but I think the 1 minute trailer is more effective without a voiceover. If you'd have asked me, I'm like, no, a voiceover.
I know, I did ask you if you were pushing for the trailers to have a voiceover.
Probably.
One without it.
Why?
He made one without it just because he was pushing to have it.
Why did you do that? Why did you do it?
Because I knew you wouldn't.
Okay, so
You just weren't going to go with it, so I decided to take a chance, do it on my own time. If it turned out great, if it didn't turn out, then
okay,
right.
right. So I wasn't.
Spoken like a true son.
Well, I wasn't. I mean, it's just, this is what adults don't understand. It's like, listen to your kids, because your kids are, they're right, and so, why is it more effective? You said something?
There is something like that for books. It's an app called Blinkist. They take every single book out there and they condense it down into a 15-minute read. They take all the key points and condense it down into a 15-minute.
And so what's the advantage? Well, what's the advantage of doing that?
You take away the nuggets. You know what the whole idea, what the learn of that book is, and then you can go study it further if you want. But you don't have to spend 8 hours, 10 hours reading a book to figure out if it's any good for you. You can read 15 minutes and then go dig in later.
It's like pitch anything. It was good, but it's like it was the same thing over and over and over again.
Right, and as your knowledge gains, it's hard. It takes more work. You have to become more disciplined because you know so much of what it is. I know that. Tom helped me with that a lot, where he would tell me something and I would say I know it, but I didn't. I knew it. I thought I knew it, but I didn't know it at the depth, and so I found myself catching myself I'm like, I know that, and it's like, no, you don't, Mark. Listen to what he's saying, because he's saying something at a deeper level. So when Jonathan went ahead and said what he did, and so why is a trailer video probably under a minute? Why is it better without voiceover than with?
Probably because you have to concentrate harder to watch it.
Because you have to concentrate harder. Because you have to concentrate harder. You have to work.
Not only that, but it lets anybody at their own personality take it in how they want to take that in.
Right.
It's not somebody telling it from their perspective.
Right. And so
When I was doing online courses and stuff on certain things, the ones that I had a couple that literally they wanted to slow you down more slow, but they read it all to you. So I wouldn't have to read it. I like not being able to read, but then I wouldn't remember anything that you read. That's why phone calls and stuff like that, or after the recorded phone calls, I don't know. I don't know to do something else while I'm listening to this.
So in marketing, in marketing, what you're looking for is you're looking to how do you condense it to 78 words or less. So if you get one person to call you, it's equivalent to 460 outbound phone calls, and nobody calls anymore. Like everybody's on the internet.
Everybody wants to text, so they want to email or.
The texting is strong. Yeah, the texting is really strong. So how do you go ahead and condense things down into 78 words? How do you condense things down into 70? What 78 words are magical that will move somebody from step one, which is, okay, their biggest challenge, to getting this information here? And so it's the biggest challenge, and that leads them into this question. And so Lynn, okay, Lynn went ahead and said she wanted.
I don't think that's what it is. Not trying to condense that down into 75 words. You're trying to use 75 words or less to make them want to go do that.
Right.
For a movie, it's like twice so much.
That's exactly right.
You give up so much information.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't watch a lot of movies because I watch all the funny parts in the trailer, or I go online and watch a.
Right. So how do you take the trailers and how do you insert those into specific areas to improve the pressure points? So that's the key. How do you condense it to move somebody from step one to step two? Okay. Matt. GTing it.
It's really hard.
Right?
It is. Especially when you are being asked to do it, being a producer, and you're relied on to be the producer, and then somebody wants you to teach other people how to do what you do. So you're balancing both. That's kind of a struggle that I feel like I'm going through right now. How do you do so that you continue to produce and then also create something that allows people to come up to it?
Right.
And really understand what's going on. I can kind of see the play between the three roles, the three areas.
Okay.
And how that works.
Uh-huh.
But how do you get everybody else to work?
Right. Well, and the ideal is they get so strong where they almost don't even, like they could do the GTing without you. So you could come in and be a terrible leader, but it still works. So on the way here, Rosanna asked me, what would you like to accomplish? And I'm like, on GTing it, so Katrina has access through Legacy Partners to a database of over 1.4 million businesses. And it's a Hoover's database. Now it's older, so it might be 20%, or it might be 80% good, or it might be 20% good. But if you got 1.4 million, even if it's 20%, that's 280,000 businesses. So she did a search and she found that there's 120,000 businesses in Illinois that have over 50 employees, which I find really hard to believe. But anyways, it is whatever it is. And so Matt's looking at building his business, and so Katrina got identified targets, but it's too big. Like technology, it would jam it, it'd kill it. And so there needs to be a sifting of maybe, 100 or 500. And so the challenge is if she misdoes that, it messes synergy up, like we're dead until we get MCAT back. So MCAT has, so there's certain technologies that you have to have. So MailChimp, if she inserts too many, folds in too many, and there's complaints, they'll shut you down and you're dead.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of stuff in there. So she's got I don't know, 100, 200, 500, what's the number? but then she needs to go ahead, and so she needs to go ahead and take, I don't know, some number. Somebody's got to make that decision. And so somebody's got to make the decision of the 120,000 businesses, how many are going to get put in the MailChimp. Okay, then box 2 is develop and deliver message. And so develop and deliver message. So somebody's got to make a decision on what that message is. And so that's for Matt's business. And so what he's got resources that he doesn't know how to direct yet. So he's learning all the rules of the game.
I have a question for this Coffee Connection live stream. Can you put the instruction on how to use it? Like clearly saying, oh, you click this, you click that. Do you have to register, or just click on the?
I think it's just the link. If that we just give somebody the link, they just go to that link, and it just shows up, right? Coffee Connection live.
You don't have to register, right?
No.
Okay, you just click the, Okay.
They probably don't use it.
So if you were stronger, it would happen. Or if Katrina and Elise and Jill, if they were stronger, then it would happen. But you're both at a point where, it's kind of like jagging. Okay, good. Anything you want to accomplish today?
How do you put that together? How do you put that together to develop as you, without the time to really 100% focus on it?
Right. So,
That's always the hard one.
So, it's like, do you know who the players are of the 3 different areas?
Yes.
So Katrina's area 1, Avalinda's area 2, and Elise is area 3. Jill can go ahead and she has understanding of some of it. Rosanna has understanding of some of it. So it's like, okay, so we need, okay, when is the database done? When is box 1? When is box 2? So box 1 gets done here, box 2 gets done here, box 3 gets done. Brienne, she's the one that, like, she oversees, like, she's my right-hand person. And so she might be, so she's a bulldog. Like, I don't have to manage her, and so she'll drive stuff through. So she could, but that's one more piece. I think you know Katrina, so you have some relationships there. You know Rosanna, so it's just probably as simple as just taking those steps and just saying, okay, step 1, who's going to do it and the due date. Step 2, who's going to do it and the due date. It's just you knowing who the people are and then putting a due date, and they'll either hit it or they won't. And if they hit it, you can say, oh, great. And if they don't hit it, you can, okay, you all learn from it, but at least it's being pressed, forward.
What kind of business is he in?
What's Maddie? Mm-hmm. So he's in technology now, but he's becoming certified in Action Vision. And so that's one of his businesses where he's looking at developing an Action Vision coaching practice.
Okay.
So the YouTube meeting, like somehow that's not being driven through. And so,
it's always good for me to know what people do. I went 6 months without knowing what Kevin King did. That cost him a lot of money.
Right. And so he's got 11. So he works with he does a lot of things. One of the things, some percentage of the work he does is recruiting of technology people. And so he has 11,000 technology people on his LinkedIn. And so the opportunities that he could open to you in the technology arena, for a whole bunch of different things. And then your network, like you have a lot of people in your network that would benefit from what we're doing, that you're probably, I don't understand it, but you might be a little bit concerned about me pushing people too hard.
Hard to believe.
And so you don't want to, you're now seeing the benefit of some of that. So you're like, you know what? If Mark's not pushing, people don't do things. So you're starting to embrace some of that, saying, and so, and I don't really want to grow my coaching business, not really. But Matt's I do. And so there's so many people, and his personality is so perfect because he can nurture people, but he'll be nice. He'll just be nice. So he matches your personality very similar. So the people are going to resonate more with him than with me. And so there's huge opportunities. What are you laughing at?
Because just made me think he can smile and vaporize people with a smile and they're not going to take offense to it. You can say the exact same thing he does, but you don't have that same smile, and they're going to get offended.
Yeah. You're right. I agree with you.
Yeah, this is a theory. This is not a reality. When you,
I would disagree. I don't think you've seen how when I vaporize it usually doesn't come with a smile. And it's almost worse because they're used to seeing the smile until it's to that point, and then when they get the verbal and the outward part of that, it's a bomb.
oh, that's why it's more effective then. Because
Really?
they're not used to it. So what they do is they discount me, and they're just like, oh, Mark's just being picky. He's just being, he's just being harsh, mean. He's mean and he's harsh. He's mean and he's picky. But they don't. They can't map you. So that's why it's more effective. And so the theory is, see, vaporization in one of the white papers, self-vaporization, people have idols. They have idolatry. They think of themselves as something, and that's holding them back. And unless that gets vaporized, they
Can't get past it.
can't get past it. And so, like what Matt's talking about, but see, Ed, he's a nice guy, but do people really move? Yes, no, some, but a lot not. And so when people are really nice, yes, they like him, but okay, they like him, and they're not upset, and they're not angry, and they're not spreading rumors about him. But did he change them?
No.
No. Did they make a you're stuck, and you're making some progress, that you're ready for a breakthrough, and so you're stuck, and so if you allow me, I can unstick you. I mean, I can help you to make that jump. I think you probably know my heart, and you're saying, you know what, he's not doing it for his own benefit. And so the theory of the nice person is more effective than that. No, you just don't get people ticked, but they don't change. They don't change.
If you get them ticked, they still don't change either.
Some do.
Some do.
Some absolutely do. But most don't. Right. And then you get a lot of people out there that are upset with you. But I don't care. like Matt
That's
cares.
hard to believe.
Like Matt cares. It's like, I don't care. I mean, and so it's like, hey, it is what it is. And I cannot tell you how many people have come back to me 1 year, 3 years, 10 years later, and they've said, you were right. You're right, and I should have listened to you. I should have listened to you, and I didn't.
Will my son do that someday?
To you?
Yeah.
What's his personality? Amiable?
He's a chameleon.
Chameleon.
And so he's multiple. So he's deepest, I think, expressive. Are you deepest expressive? I don't remember the codes. Yeah. So it's very deep expressive, I believe, with some analytic, and then some amiable. His weakest is going to be the driving, his weakest energy. All the other reason it builds up is because the amiable gets taken advantage of again and again until they're finally like, the reason they get taken advantage of is because they like it.
Boy, when they get mad.
Boy, when they get mad.
Don't mess.
Right.
The mess with amiable.
Right. That's
Do they like it?
They do, because when they're taking advantage of them, they're serving somebody, and so they feel good about themselves, and so they're like, oh, I'm such a good person. I mean, I can get along with somebody nobody else can get along with. They need me so much. They absolutely love.
But when you ask the person to do something for you and they don't do it, it just ticks you off because it's like, I did all this for you.
Is it because they're not aware of how much their time is being wasted?
No, they love wasting time. They love wasting time. They love.
That pisses me off.
Nice. Why are you hitting me for something he said?
No, I don't like wasting time. You just think that's the case.
No, they do. Like if they can feel good about themselves, if they can feel good about themselves, they don't mind wasting a ton of time.
You're still wasting your own time by facilitating it. You obviously like it more than
Right?
because you're choosing to do that.
You're choosing
Okay, I hit you for him agreement.
And so,
You agreed with him.
so it's,
He gets in trouble.
it is, and so they like it, and so the person, what happens is the dynamic is so the person goes ahead and they're like loving it, and the person who's receiving it says, oh, they like being taken advantage of. If they like this, I bet you they'd like it even more if I took even more advantage of them. So they take even more advantage of them, and they like it more until at some point, all of a sudden, the amiable wakes up and says,
No, it's enough.
done. I'm finished. I'm over.
They start hitting you?
Oh, no.
Much worse, huh?
And so they don't, and they have a hard time taking ownership. So they think it's somebody else's fault, and so they don't realize, no, you're the issue. So if somebody doesn't self-vaporize them, then somebody else has to. And typically, like with Eddie's the only one that loves him enough to go ahead and put the relationship at risk. To say, you know what, I'm going to put the relationship at risk, and I'm going to tell you something that may blow the relationship up, and you hate me. You may hate me, but I love you so much that I'm going to speak the truth into your life. And there are very few people on the planet that will do that. Most of the time, it's a dad. Most of the time, it's a dad, because most moms won't do it, because moms do not want to go ahead and put the relationship at risk, because they gain so much of their significance from their relationship with their children. So they won't do it, and the kids know it, and so the kids continue to take advantage of the mom, and
Yes.
the mom continues to like it because then she's a good mom.
Because in our relationship, I was the one that did that. My husband never. He always wanted to be the good guy, and I was always the bad guy.
Well, you didn't. You have still been taking advantage.
Oh yeah, I have. But I'm still the one that.
Well, if the
doesn't speak
husband doesn't want to do it, then the wife has to do it because nobody's doing it, and the home will get absolutely destroyed. But then there's bitterness because everybody likes the nice one. I mean, for about, it wasn't until we had 4 teenage kids that I went to Rosanna and I said, I need help. I cannot continue to be the bad guy and always telling the kids the hard things. I mean, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm always the bad guy. I need you to step in.
I'm still the bad guy.
Well,
I'm the disciplinarian. I've always been.
So this is the thing that really ticks the amiable off, like big time. Like they get really mad with this because your kids will love you more than they love the nice one.
Well, yeah, my
Yes.
kids are my stepkids.
Yes,
Yes.
right.
Absolutely.
They will love you more, and they even get so mad. They're like, I'm the nice one. I take him here and take him here and take him here and take him here, and I do all this stuff, and they don't love me. Right, because they can sense at a subconscious level, you're not doing it for their benefit. You're doing it for your own. You're selfish. And so if you're hard on somebody, they will love you at some point, because of that. Okay, Rosanna.
I don't have a big issue. If I'm gonna make it to 30, 40 yet.
I was replaced.
Okay, you gotta go.
So
Anybody? Anything else you have?
So come here, looks like.
I have a lot, but
Okay.
I'm gonna get next week.
All right.
What do you do? What do you do?
What do I do?
Uh-huh.
I work in a software company.
Oh, I'm a programmer too.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, for 12 years. Finally, I found I don't like that job.
What'd you code in?
What do you mean?
You said you were a programmer?
Yeah, I'm a programmer. I'm coding the C, C++, but the majority work is just like chasing people around, asking them to do their work. I'm a coordinator. Coordinator? Yeah, I don't really do the work.
Pardon? That really ticks me off.
Okay, well, I might see you guys.
Okay. How long have you and I known each other?
3 years?
I think it's been a lot longer.
4 years?
4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And I didn't know you were a C++ programmer. It's like, my system is flawed. We'll see it.
But I working for 12 years. I don't write code.
Right. Right. So, okay. Are we done? Yeah. All right. You can see a lot of activity going on. Start your own coffee connection. Welcome. Hope it was beneficial to you. Have a blessed day.